it was a different sort of final day, the last 4 that we had on that Sunday in May of 2024. The very biggest names had gone, so it was a wonderful opportunity for someone to really make a name for themselves. Capito was the man who did it. So they've had the practice racks, ready to get on with the action. It is a change now, race to 10, and of course the other big change now is that there are no more safety nets. Double elimination is over. Now, 6 matches, you've got to win them all to become UK Open champion. Aloysius Yapp from Singapore will start us off.
Sense of he has made the one in the side, that is the intention. Everything else after that is not really your fault. You've just got to break, put the one and see what the table gives you. Unfortunately for Yapp, it's going to push out here in round 1.
You can hear in the background that sound that you only ever hear at the very start of the day, with play beginning on all tables simultaneously, and firing the starting gun. It should be a wonderful day's play.
Thinking Capito's a big favourite in this match just because he's defending champion, because he is Yapp is a cool customer. He has the potential to go all the way this one. Here comes the push. Don't forget, after he's played this shot, the opponent, in this case Capito, will come to the table with the option of playing it and handing it back. So let's give you a little idea. He's not just going to roll the cue ball in behind that brown 7 because Capito wants to carry on. You can pot a ball, you can pretty much do it. He's getting this one back without a doubt. There's no way Robbie's going to play this. Coming round to have a look, of course, weighing up the options, but I don't see any value in taking this shot.
Robbie Capito from Hong Kong, 23 years of age and ranked number 22 in the world. Aloysius Yapp, that's the world number 5, just turned 29 a few days ago.
There for me, that Yapp thought it was a really poor push out. I don't know why you would put yourself in that position, but he did, and it's give Capito a look at this ball.
So Mickey Kraus, as defending champion at the European Open in March, not even make it to single elimination. The same fate almost befell Capito in his title defence, as he had to go to loser's qualification, and in fact he faced the man who knocked Kraus out in Sarajevo, Hubert Lepotko. Capito, though, did come through comfortably in the end.
Didn't feel like he could get the pot, so it's the safety and go back to his chair. Disappointed because he hasn't got the hook, which means now Yapp is back in the driving seat here. He's the one who can lay a good hook now. So many balls in the centre of the table, it's hard to see how you don't get the hook here. Wants to take away the short cue as well. It's hard for him to get welded to the 8 ball in that instance. He's going to have a go at this, the short cue, jumping over the brown 7 as well. That's got a little bit of distance, so he's got to get this cue ball landing quick. Very easy to see balls jumping off the table here. He's got to be careful. almost nearly flying off the table. Kind of caught the railing.
Yapp came through undefeated, won his first couple of matches for the total loss of only 5 racks. Pulled away late on against Nguyen An Tan to see off his Vietnamese opponent yesterday in winners qualification. Had a run of 3 straight breaking runs at one point, which you don't see very often nowadays with the new pockets and the break rules that were changed a couple of years ago. So overall was in very good form in that match yesterday.
I think it's fair to say Robbie got away with one that could have landed anywhere. You can see a little edge. This is very nasty. He was in such a bad spot there, Yapp. You can see what he was trying to do, but to avoid the double kiss, he was a huge second favourite, so it was a favourable role for Aloysius Yapp.
Yeah, he was sent to the one-loss side by a fairly heavy defeat against Conrad Yusufyan, experienced Pole, who blew him away by 9 racks to 3.
Okay, a little gift there for Yapp. Straight back out the chair. Should be going nowhere near this middle. Oh, I presume he forgot to put a bit of left and spin on the cue ball.
Yeah, Yapp's birthday was last week. That was the time to be handing him presents.
That was the shot Capito was attempting. Carbon copy. Yapp nailed it.
Hasn't won one of these big matchroom events, but he's been very close. Reached the US Open final, was in a strong position against Carlo Beato 4 years ago now.
That's handy. It goes in this corner pocket. In position. Super easy.
It took a while to sort itself out early on this rack. The outcome quite inevitable now. And with that, Aloysius Yapp takes a 1-0 lead. So it's all a good deal easier to follow from here on in because, well, at one stage yesterday we had matches going on in 3 different rounds. You've got winner's side, you've got loser's side, but all much more straightforward now. Single elimination all the way to the finish, so everything in the early part of the day is in the last 64 round. Fatima Aradinaj, who was one of the 2 players to beat Eklund Kachi yesterday, he's back in action. He's lost the first rack to Sei Cha Chen. This is the format, field of 256. In the early rounds, it's race to 9. On the loser side, race to 8, except for the final round on that side, where again it's 9. You lose one match, you do have another chance, but the earlier you lose, the more matches you have to win to then make it to the final 64. And everyone who's come through from the winner's side faces someone who's come through from the loser's side. And after that, you can chart your course really through the rest of the tournament because there's a fixed bracket, no more draws. And after subsequent rounds, you can see exactly what route you have to take if you're to win this UK Open title. Bulgarian Georgi Georgiev has won the opener against American Sam Henderson. And Conrad Yusufyan, who, as I was saying, sent Robbie Capito over to the loser side yesterday, tied up 1-1 with Lu Ri Teng, who got to the last 16 here last year. Fraser Patrick, who ultimately ended Ekland involvement in the losers qualification round, has taken the first rack against Yanni Uski. Nicholas Tan of Singapore made the best start of all, already leading 2-0 over Michael Schneider. Yapp to break in rack 2.
Again, it's a good break. He's not got an easy opener. Don't believe this ball cuts in.
Match I mentioned between Tan and Schneider, the winner of that will play the winner of this, so prospect of an all-Singapore clash in the last 32 later today. He's left a bit of distance, but not good safety. I think Robbie's just got to bank the blue 2 straight back up to where the cue ball is. Cue ball will come over to the left. Try and use that 9 as a blocker. Recently recognised at the Hong Kong Sports Awards on the back of his UK Open success last year. Fairly small place, Hong Kong, so wouldn't have that many players in any sport winning big international events.
He's had to split them. Opposite side to the table as he left the gap. Yapp.
Extension.
An extraordinary losers qualification round yesterday, wasn't it? It can almost be a bit of an afterthought at times because you don't tend to have the biggest names involved in it, but there were so many big name players battling for their UK Open futures. Ekland, the highest ranked player in the tournament, but amazingly not in the final 64, beaten by Scotland's Fraser Patrick. And Moritz Neuhausen, very much the man of the moment after winning the last matchroom event, the Premier League, very surprisingly beaten by Slovakia's Christian Merva. We also had that hill finish in a match where we knew a big name was going out because it was Niels Fine against Victor Zielinski. It's the former world champion Fine who eventually departed Telford after losing 9-8 to the pole.
Opportunity for Robbie. because of his good safety shot. Yeah, Fraser Patrick's in action in the morning session against Aloysius Yapp. Fraser's took the first rack there. Be feeling good coming into today, knocking out Aloysius Yapp last night. Shot. It was a little tester because he had to go forward off 2 rails with a cue ball.
In decent form so far in 2025, Robbie Capito. Got to the last 32 of the European Open. A really tense match against Loh Ho Sun because it was an all Hong Kong affair. Loh eventually won it and went on to reach the quarterfinals. It was really at the Premier League the following week, the same venue, that Capito truly shone. He was top of the table, 20 wins from his 29 matches. Just a couple of racks away from going on from there to reach the final before losing to Moritz Neuhausen, who, as we were saying, went on to win the title. So Capito forced the opportunity from his tactical endeavours. Still needed a good shot to get things started though. Once he'd played that, he was always favoured to see out the rack from there, which is what he's done. And Capito levels with Aloysius Yapp at 1-all. Let's look in on table 3. Dean Shields from Manchester playing Duong Kwok Wang. He ended Duong's involvement in the Hanoi Open last year, so meeting again quite soon. 1-all in the early stages of this one. And we've talked so much, haven't we, Carl, about who might be the new British name to come through. Dean Shields is starting to build his reputation quite nicely.
Yeah, playing in the Open events and committing to 9-ball pool.
Just while we watch this, I'll tell you about some of the other matches going on. Aloysius, former winner of this title, isn't here, but his younger brother Cledio is, and he's currently 2-1 up on American Hunter Lombardo. Last year's runner-up, Mieszko Fortunski, has lost the first couple of racks of his match against the former World and US Open champion, Carlo Biado. Nicholas Tan still flying. The Singapore player now 3-0 up on Michael Schneider. Daniel Maciol, semi-finalist in the last Matchroom Open event, also 3-0 up against Mustafa Alnar. And Mario He leads by that score over the former World Masters champion Alexander Kazakis. Sei-Cha Chen has also won the first 3 racks of his match against Vitim Haridinaj. There's some of the main scorelines in the early stages of Friday's play here in Telford. This was where Robbie Capito won his first major title last year. And this is his first break of the match. It's 1-all.
Well, the outcome is going to be pretty good. Didn't make the 1 ball in the side, but he won't care because he's got a nice shot here. He's got a nice angle. Can come down the bottom of the table for the red 3. If he gets this one right, gets an angle on the red 3, they're all there. It's a really good split, this.
Pius Labutis and Mieszko Fortunski are both fine players, make no mistake about that, but you could look at the fact that they were Capito's opponents in the semi-final and final last year and say, well, he was throwing a bit of the luck of the draw there, wasn't he? Because you would expect to have to play the very biggest names in the later rounds to win your first major title. Fact was, he was the main reason that the biggest names were no longer there, because he had already knocked out Fedor Gorst in the last 16, and then Joshua Filler, Hill in an absorbing quarter-final. So by no means was it an easy draw for Capito on his way to the title here 12 months ago. And I think he was someone we'd known about for a long time, Carl, but let's be fair, going into last year, I don't think anyone would have seen him as someone who was on the brink of winning one of these tournaments quite yet.
No, there's a few players in there that we're talking about. Neuhausen was one of them. Obviously he's managed to win the Premier League this year. I know he's out of this year's UK Open, but so many good players, not just the top tier guys, the winners. There's a bracket just below him. That's very tough. Capito's lost the cue ball a little bit here. Got into the previous shot too much. So he's not got much angle. Draws the cue ball back. That middle pocket might be kind of in his way. See how it caught the point. He's going to be going for the combo then.
And if he gets it, it'll be the first breaking run of the match.
Yeah, that's what he's faced with. Looks easy on the camera. He's just got to pick a point on the rail. Kind of forget about the 9-ball. Send that brown ball to your aiming point. Opportunity gone. I wonder if he can get into the cue ball here and avoid hitting the 9-ball. If he can't, he's going to take a bit of a gamble with his positional play. He's going low. I think he's trying to avoid the 9. Yeah, coming around the back. This needs to move. This needs to go. Ball or two short. Can he still thin snip this in?
Just about, but he's got the job done and it's finished about as nicely as he could have hoped for on the 9. So Yapp with this to lead for the second time in the match. Yeah, taking a while to get going this contest, but Yapp does lead it once again at 2-1. Bulgaria's Georgi Georgiev now 3-0 up on the young US player Sam Henderson. Mario He leading 4-0 over Alexander Kazakis. Daniel Masiol also in front by that score over Mustafa Alnar. Arseny Sevastianov from Finland, one of the breakout stars of this UK Open so far, leading 3-2 over Hona Suto, the Spanish player who's been in such good form so far this year. And another player leading 4-0 is Yapp's fellow Singaporean, Nicholas Tan, against Michael Schneider of Switzerland. Mieszko Fortunski has got one back against Carlo Beato. He still trails, but it's 2-1 now. Claudio Cacci has gone 3-1 up on Hunter Lombardo. Duong Kwok Hwang is a couple of balls away from leading by that score against Dean Shields. Alexa Pechelj from Serbia, former US Open semi-finalist. 3-0 up on Tang Ching Ting. As we see Duong finish the job, let's get over to table 2. And a clash of a couple of youngsters, AJ Manis and Yannick Pongers. Pongers, of course, was the player, Carl, who we saw really collapse from a very strong, you would say, winning position against Tobias Pongers on the main table in Sarajevo.
Yeah, good to see him putting that behind him, because he's having a good tournament so far here. Wasn't the best safety shot when we come into vision. You can see the other tables are about 4 or 5 racks in. We've only played 3 here. That's down to the mistakes the players have made in every rack. Because the break has been working. Been a couple of racks where players have not had a look at the lowest ball as well.
As you said, and I think rightly so, Yapp is the favourite for this match, and he certainly was yesterday against Wenan Tan. And it took him a while to really assert himself in that match as well, but by the end of it he was playing really, really well.
Safety. What's he got in mind? Jack used the 8 ball. Wow, he's put himself in jail here.
Yeah, whatever he had in mind, it certainly wasn't that.
I think we've had this in every rack, haven't we, where players have had a couple of safety shots and they've not hit them how they wanted. This will take some hitting. Players can play deliberate fouls in this instance, but there doesn't look to be that option available. And usually what they do is to try and roll the ball onto another ball to make a problem. He's trying to arc the cue ball. Watch the cue ball bend off the bottom rail. Oh, what a shot. Great hit. Oh, wow, look at this. Both players coming out of hooks in this match have got away with it. Look at that for a roll. Incredible. To think that's where the balls have come to rest out of that escape is mind-boggling.
Yeah, out of all the ways this could have finished, absolute dream outcome for Yapp. What age were you when you started playing, Carl?
Started playing English 8-ball pub pool, as we know it, in England at the age of 13.
Well, Capito started playing when he was 2, in the child's table at home, and evolved to full-scale table at only 5 years of age.
Well, unfortunately for Capito, he's missed the 3-ball. And just look at where the pink balls finish. Is that a dead set combo? Not far away. He doesn't need to go for it. If it was dead set, he would obviously go for it, but I think the fact that he needs to make it is why he's not bothered. So every amateur pool player around the world would have played for the combo there, but unless it's absolutely wired, guaranteed, you're not going to see these boys attempt it.
Yapp was someone else who made great strides in the game at a young age. He was the world under-19 champion, among many other junior titles that he won a decade or so ago. reached the quarterfinals of the World Championship when he was still a teenager, losing to Wu Cha-Ching, who had won the title as a teenager himself 10 years earlier.
Just struggling with the cue ball at the minute. This is a lot thinner than he wanted. He's got a nice angle though, so make sure you pop the 5. And he's missed it. Every rack has been the same, Michael. Opportunities just getting thrown away. I mean, he had ball in hand and he's only potted 2 balls. They're all in the open. Incredible.
The sluggish start to this contest continues here in rack 4.
Tricky spot there. He wasn't playing the cue ball to land there, so we'll take that.
Nicely done, and a great chance now to level. I just feel you can sense the atmosphere changing a bit when we get to this stage of tournaments. Double elimination is over, and now it's down to the business end of things. 1 defeat and you're out. And of course, it's also getting to the stage where a couple of days from the finish of the tournament, so you can start to see the finish line coming into view. Sometimes that tension can lead to mistakes being made here and there, and I think perhaps we're seeing that in the early stages. Robbie Capito has twice been behind. Both times he's levelled. It's 2-all. Vida Maradinaj has got his first rack on the board against Sei Cha Chen. He now trails 3-1. Georgie Georgiev 4-0 up on Sam Henderson. Close going between Conrad Yasusin and Liu Riteng. That one is 3-all. Scotland's Fraser Patrick has a 3-1 lead over Yanni Uski. Hona Suto has turned it around against Arseny Sevastianov. The Spaniard now leading 4-3. Alexander Kazakis has won his first rack of the day, but still well behind against Mario He at 4-1. Mateusz Niagotsky is also 4-1 in front against Badr Alawadi. So there's some of the scores going on around the hall. And this is one of the events coming up later in the year. For the very first time, the Florida Open. It all begins at Caribe Royale in Orlando, last year's Moscone Cup venue, on the 5th of August. And the start of a massive month for Nineball in the States Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic month there. Florida Open. There's a lot of pool players in Florida. They love it. That part of the world, so I expect a lot of fans there. I also expect a lot of fans in Atlantic City, the US Open, Nineball's biggest prize, the most prestigious tournament. Pool player can win 18th through to the 23rd of August at the Harrah's Resort.
Yeah, so much history in that event, isn't there? In fact, if we hadn't missed a couple of years because of COVID and other factors, this would be the 50th US Open this year. That will be celebrated in style a couple of years down the line when we do get there. That is the US Open. The UK Open last year was won by Robbie Capito, and he starts us off in rack 5.
It's a nice break. You can pot this in the top right corner.
Wasn't entirely out of the blue by any means when Capito won this last year. In fact, only a matter of months prior to that, he'd been quarter-finalist at the US Open. Gave the eventual runner-up Fedor Gorst close contest before going down 10-7. So he'd had good showings in events in the past. His more notable results early on in his career came in this tournament 3 years ago, when he not only beat Albin Ocean, who was pretty much the best player in the world at the time, but beat him 9-0.
Just kind of get the sense that Robbie's just kicked on a little bit here. Yapp's had some chances. He looks a little slow around the table, a little bit hesitant. Doesn't quite put the cue ball where he wants it. Robbie will have noticed that.
And that's not entirely unusual for Yapp, is it? Sometimes he can succumb to those tendencies.
Yeah, just very methodical. And it's just his style of play. Certainly sense it though, can't he? He's got a bit more of a spring in his step here. Ideal. The fact that he's got very close to the brown 7 just makes getting on the 9 nice and easy.
Robbie Capito had a chance a couple of racks ago to complete the first break and run of this match. Missed the 7-9 combination. This time, though, he's completed the job. So, Robbie Capito, the defending champion, leads for the first time in the match at 3-2. So it is raised to 10 now, and a few players are already halfway there. Mohamed Babad of Saudi Arabia leading 5-1 against Simon Corral. AJ Manis is racing away now against Yannick Pongers, swiftly moving into a 5-2 lead. And Alexa Pechelge is performing most impressively of all, 5-0 against Tang Ching Ting. Now this is what's going on table 4. Two well-established names. Mario He, multiple World Cup of pool winner with Austria, against Alexander Kazakis, former Mosconi Cup player who's been World Masters champion in the past. And it's Mario He, very much in control at the moment. Two players, Carl, who, as I say, we've known about for a number of years, but who have slipped off the pace a bit over the last 12 months or so.
Yeah, well said, Michael. You know, obviously Kazakis is at the table. He's had them a couple of Mosconi Cup appearances. Wasn't his best performances. He looked a little shaky out there, which is understandable. It's brutal, don't get me wrong, but you know, he beat SVB 9-0 in the final of the World Pool Masters. He's actually lost in another final, the World Pool Masters, but in the last 3 or 4 years, just not really seen him at the end, have we?
We will see a shot here eventually. No shot clock, of course, on the outside tables.
Yeah, the fact that he had ball in hand, he was trying to get into the 6. Maybe that's why we've not seen him at the latter stages of these tournaments, because that was a shocker.
Yeah, he's got a lot of history in the past. He's been World Championship semi-finalist. He's knocked Shane Van Bonen out of the US Open in the past. Robbie Capito then, leading for the first time.
He's finding the 1 ball. I believe this will go in the middle. It's very tight from that angle. ball up towards the corner. It's a good safety.
Mentioned earlier that Capito performed very well at the Premier League. So did Yapp. Made it to the last day and only missed out on a place in the semi-finals by 1 on a Rax countback. He's also in the last 16 of the European Open. Just before that, lost to Piers Labutus. He was runner-up in the Scottish Open just a few days ago, beaten by Mickey Kraus.
Well, if that is one way to wake you up in this match, that might be the shot there. The beauty with a short cue. Look at this. Look how thin it is. He's got to play it to pot it. Everything about that shot was wonderful. Just look at this cue ball as well. So much could have gone wrong.
Yeah, just the sort of thing that might free up his cueing arm a bit. Probably the best shot of the match so far. And we were talking yesterday, Jeremy and myself, about players who've not won one of these big matchroom events, who you could see winning one in the future. Really, I would have to say Yapp would probably be number 1 on that list.
Yeah, it's going to be this week. He's going to have to cut out the few errors that he's made so far in this match.
Certainly when you look at the world ranking list, he's the highest ranked player who hasn't won a title of this nature. The International Open in the States a couple of times, and I think it's fair to say if you can win that event, you're certainly more than capable of winning one of these. Very similar format and quality of field.
Yeah, is it the Players' Championships in golf, Michael, what they say that is the 5th major?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
The unofficial 5th major,
yeah.
People like to say, yeah. And I know what you're saying, the International Open would have very similar status in pool, absolutely.
Yeah, because obviously it was the old US Open. It was where we used to play the US Open. And so obviously when the guys go over there and play, it's now called the International, it's the same arena. And, you know, it's the area it's in Chesapeake, it's got a lot of history for the US Open, so it still feels like a, you know, a massive tournament. But, you know, the fact that he's won that a couple of times shows you the level he plays. I mean, it can come across a bit harsh, can't it, where we keep saying, oh, he's Yapp's the next player to win a big tournament, but when we are talking about these open events, these 256 player fields, lost in the US Open final as well, didn't it, that year?
Yeah, and was in a very strong position, as I said earlier, against Carlo Beato, and it all really turned on one shot. He had a 9-ball that would have put him 9-3 in front, and he missed it. Beato completely took over. I mentioned the Players' Championship in golf there. Of course, the man who won that this year had a pretty big week soon after that, Rory McIlroy. So Capito, by winning the previous rack, led for the first time. Yapp, though, has drawn us level for the 3rd time. It's now 3-all. It's also 3-all between Vitim Haradinaj and Si Cha Chen, which wouldn't have looked likely a short time ago when Si was leading 3-0. 5-0 now for Georgie Georgiev over American Sam Henderson. Liu Ri Teng did well last year. He's doing well again this year in this event. 5-3 in front of Conrad Yasusin. And Fraser Patrick now 4-1 up on Yanni Uski. Hona Suta was really turned it round against Arseny Sebastianov. He's a couple clear now at 5-3. Daniel Maciol, semi-finalist in Sarajevo with a 5-1 lead over Mustafa Alnar. Michael Schneider has battled back so well against Nicholas Tan. The Singapore player made that flying start, but it's 4-all now. AJ Manis is the closest to the target of 10 at the moment, because he's now 6-2 up on Yannick Pongers. Although just as I say that, Pongers has won rack 9 to get back to 6-3. And over on table 3, Duong Quoc Hoang of Vietnam. Reyes Cup winner last year, 5-2 in front of Dean Shields. Claudio Cacci, 5-1 up on Hunter Lombardo. And Alexa Pechelge won all of the first 5 racks against Tang Ching Ting. That is now back to 5-1. An update on that Claudio Cacci score, as you can see there, that's just ticked over to 6-1. Always a catchy around somewhere at the business end of these events, Carl.
Yeah, we used to it being the Coe brothers, aren't we? But there's a new act in town.
I'm looking forward to the day we see a Reyes Cup doubles between the Catchy brothers and, well, any two of the Coe brothers, because there are three of them now who are prominent players on the circuit. Ko Ping Han has come on a lot over the last 12 to 18 months. 3-all here, Yapp to break.
The break has been there for both players. This has been the issue. More so for Yapp, to be fair. He's not really had a lot of love off the break on the lowest ball.
Yeah, he's made the one in the side. 4 attempts out of 4 so far.
The opening rack is a little bit like the situation he had here when he played that roll out, left himself hooked. Capito handed it back and he played the jump and made a mess of it, so let's see what he's thinking here, because it's very similar situation, this. I don't think he'll be rolling out into a jump this time. I think he's learned his lesson.
You may have spotted Tyler Steyer there, looking on to Yapp's right-hand side. We'll see Steyer later on. Big week for the likes of him, really, when you consider that Gorse not here, Van Boning not here. It falls to the likes of Steyer and Skylar Woodward to fly the US flag. Woodward almost went out yesterday to Nathan Childress, but got through in the end.
Yeah, there's a couple of Americans playing in this morning session. Both are having a complete nightmare.
Yeah, Sam Henderson, 6-0 down now against Georgi Georgiev. Bulgarian, who's been steadily improving, it seems, all the time over the last 2 years or so. And the other American, Hunter Lombardo, who, as we said, is 6-1 down to Cledio Catchy.
Okay, there's the push. Robbie fancies something here. He spotted something. Gone wrong. It was dangerous. Dangerous because where was the 2-ball going to go? The pink and the green 6. Kind of together. There was not a lot of room to sneak that 2-ball past them balls.
Extension.
Wow, we've seen some outrageous strokes of fortune already in this match. I think that counts as another one. And again, he took a long time over it and just laboured over it, and that must have contributed to missing the 2-ball in the way that he did. But boys, he got away with it.
What a fluke that is. It's amazing how he's missed that ball and he's still at the table.
And with a really good chance of getting the lead back.
It's funny, over the years we've played in tournaments where if that would have happened, Capito would have come to the table. You have to call your pocket where the ball's going. If it doesn't go in that one, it's lost a turn. I'm sure Robbie wished that was a rule here. I mean, he can't believe the fluke he's just witnessed there.
We said he's been a US Open finalist in the past. He has featured in one other big matchroom final, but in a team event. Singapore went on that dream run to the final of the World Cup of Pool 3 years ago. Lost to the Spanish side, who were just so irresistible at that time. Vastly experienced David O'Cady and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who around the time of that World Cup was just getting started on that amazing 12 to 18 months that he had.
Wants it off the rail, and he needs an angle. Usually you would be thinking this is going to be 4-3 Yapp, but from what we've seen, I'm highly convinced this rack is over just yet. Should be now though. That was a nice one.
So, Yapp wins back-to-back racks. For the first time in this contest, he's back in the lead at 4-3. So who's going to be the first player through to the last 32? May well be AJ Manis, the young Philippine star, now leading 7-4 over Yannick Pongers. Dean Shields is battling away well against Wong Kwok Wang. He's just got it back to one behind at 5-4. Claudio Cacci is also on 7 and cruising against Hunter Lombardo at 7-1. And this is on table 7, Carlo Beato, who beat Yapp in that US Open final 4 years ago, but trailing 4-3 against Mieszko Fortunski, who was runner-up to Robbie Capito here last year. Mustafa Alnar continuing to battle back against Daniel Maciol. He's closed to 5-3 behind. And Georgi Georgiev is another player who's got to 7, and that's without reply so far against Sam Henderson. Liu Riteng seems to love it in Telford. Went a long way last year, was only a couple of racks away from getting to the quarterfinals, leading this morning 5-4 over Konrad Yasusin. And Fitim Haradinaj, who lost all of the first 3 racks to Seicha Chen, has now won all of the next 4, so he leads that one for the first time.
Yeah, Fortunski's at the table, 4-3 over Beato. He's hooked on that yellow 1 ball.
I believe that's Claudio Cacci, you can see just out a picture there a moment ago. Absolutely flying in his match. We could have Claudio Cacci against Alexa Pechelge in the next round. They both have huge leads in their matches at the moment.
Well, he hit it, and it didn't go in, so Beato has a chance to tie that match up. Yapp to break. It's going to be dry. So Capito straight back to the table.
Yeah, first dry break from either player, and the first time in the match that Yapp hasn't made the one in the side off the break. The opportunity is there for Capito to extract a high price for that.
The AJ Manis and Pongers match is absolutely flying. They've played 12 racks. It's Manis who's got the lead, 7-5.
Well, at their age, they should be flying, Carl. A couple of very promising youngsters. Manis we saw take Carlo Beato Hill, the Hanoi Open, back in October.
Run of the ball has not been with Robbie the last few shots. That's the previous wreck to a horrendous fluke by Yapp, and he had to take a bit of a gamble there, going off that red 3, drawing back. Unfortunately, he's hit the green full in the face. He's hooked on the blue too.
What a letdown for Capito to make so little from that opportunity. Yapp had an extraordinary year in these big matchroom events in 2024. Didn't get past the last 32 in any of them. Reached that stage in a couple of the events, including this one. He lost to Piers Labutus.
He could take that outcome. Send the cue ball into the 8, trying to pot the 8. It's not easy though. Also, I don't know if you can cut the 2 onto the 8. I don't know how thin that is. Looks like it's the cut. Yeah, well judged. Really well judged.
Talked about Yapp maybe sometimes getting inside his own head a bit too much and overthinking things, Carl. I think it's fair to say the same can be said often about Robbie Capito.
Yeah, certainly so far in this match, even though Robbie's losing, seems to have been the more confident of the two. This has been a tricky layout. Don't forget the opening shot he played, the thin combo, and yeah, he's on the red 3, but just look at where the pink 4 is, so he's got to do something with this as well. It might be another combo onto the brown ball. These are not easy layouts, they're tricky. Especially when you've been sat in your chair watching your opponent fluke balls, winning racks.
Everything of himself into every single shot. Sizes up everything, prepares himself well, but at times, as I say, maybe he could do with freestyling a little more.
Definitely get the impression he knows Yapp's struggling, don't you? Again, I know he's losing, but a couple of them racks is just been unlucky. Playing for the purple in the side. And that should be good enough. 3 stop shots to tie it up.
It's turning into one of those matches, isn't it, where just shoulder to shoulder all the way. Very similar really to Yapp's match yesterday, but he put on a late spurt. So once again, we're all square. Yapp 4, Capito 4. Georgie Georgiev already just a couple of racks away from victory. 8-0 up now on Sam Henderson. Fraser Patrick leading Yanni Uski 4-2. Hona Suto Camino was finding the going hard early on against Arseny Sevastianov. He isn't now. Suto is leading 7-3. This is the clash of the youngsters we were talking about. Yannick Ponger's at the table, really likes to get on with it. And a chance here to get back to one behind against AJ Manis. Mario He now 5-1 up on Alexander Kazakis. Daniel Maciol leading 5-3 over Mustafa Alnar. And Mateusz Sniagotsky in front by the same score against Badr Alawadi of Kuwait. Nicholas Tan back in front against Michael Schneider, but only by a single rack at 6-5. Carlo Beato and Mieszko Fortunski now level at 4-all.
You can see why this match is moving along at a nice pace.
Yep, and Pongers is indeed going to get back to just a single rack behind. Walter Lombardo has just got a much needed rack on the board on table 8 against Claudio Cacci, but still a long, long way back for the American, trailing 8-2. And Tang Ching Ting has just won a rack that he really needed against Alexa Pechelge. Not quite as far behind for him though. Pechelge's lead is now 6-2. Reminder that coming up next on the main table will be Jason Shaw. As ever, the leading home hope, but he's never done well in this UK Open in the past. He'll be taking on another very experienced player, Chang Young Lin. It looks, Carl, though, as though they may have to wait a long time before they get to the table.
Yeah, we've been playing just over an hour. 8 racks in. Michael, he's just not having the ball run at certain times. That's what's allowing Yapp to stay close in this match, because Yapp has been poor.
Yeah, Yapp has had the fortune. You have to feel though in a race to 10. It looks bound to run out at some stage, but we will see.
Yeah, that's the good thing with these race to 10s, you know, we're not even halfway yet, so it can soon change.
Said he had a fairly rotten year in the matchroom events, the individual ones anyway, in 2024. He'd put enough points on the board early on in the qualifying process to be on the Reyes Cup team anyway, and boy did he capitalise on it. Made the winning points and ended the week as MVP. He's the only player to win all of his singles and doubles matches in Manila that week. And it really turned things around for him, because soon after that he went to the International Open, retained his title there, got to a couple more finals in the smaller ranking events before the year was out, albeit he did lose them both.
Cue ball will go a couple of rails here now. Just make sure you get the pace of this shot right. Caught the point. He just caught a little bit of the point on the bottom rail there.
heavy work of everything, really.
Yeah, because he's struggled. He's just taking a lot more time. It's like it's all building up. Look, he's been stood looking at the potting angle for about 10 seconds. It's not going to get any easier.
That's it, you start looking at the shot long enough, you start seeing problems that aren't there.
Another problem here. She's quite thin cutting the 6 in, so he can't hold the cue ball to play the brown in the bottom left. That would have been the plan. Does he have to start sending the cue ball around the table? Could play the bank. Is he trying to kill it? Yeah, he's played the bank. Again, he's lost the cue ball a little bit. He wanted to be further to the right. He should have made the 7 unmissable.
Yeah, it's turning into one of those where he's playing positional catch-up with himself and tends to catch up with you eventually. So this rack, far from decided.
You don't always play your A game.
Yeah, sometimes a stubborn refusal to leave the table can take you just as far.
Another prime example of what we've watched in this whole match. It's a struggle. The cue ball should not be on the rail. Wrong, should be putting this ball, but should have been a gimme.
Well, that wasn't played with much confidence, was it? But he's got there in the end, somehow. Capito scratch off the break, proves costly. Yapp leads again at 5-4. Now let's see what else is happening. Fitim Haradinaj has really turned it around, as we were saying, against Seicha Chen. Haradinaj, who beat Eklund Kachi yesterday. The start of Kachi's demise in this tournament. It's 5-4 now to the man from Kosovo. Sam Henderson won't be whitewashed, but he probably won't be winning either. He's 8-1 down against Georgi Georgiev now. 6-all between Konrad Yusashin and Luri Teng. Yanni Uski has won rack 7 to get back to 4-3 behind against Scotland's Fraser Patrick. Hona Suto may well be the first man through. Now leading Arseny Sevastianov 8-3. 5-2 for Mario He over Alexander Kazakis. Daniel Maciol just ahead of Mustafa Alnar now. Alnar's battled back well, only one behind at 5-4. Nicholas Tan trying to reassert himself against Michael Schneider. Tan leads 7-5. Mohamed Babad and Simon Corral are level at 5-all. Mieszko Fortunski, runner-up here in Telford last year to Robbie Capito, has got back in front against Carlo Beato at 5-4. Dean Shields has now levelled with Duong Kwok Wang at 5-all. So could Shields beat Duong in the Matchroom Open event for the second time in less than a year? And the other matches as you were. And some of the other appealing contests we've got later in the day. Mickey Krause and David Al-Qaedi have both won big Matchroom titles in the last few years. We've also got the US Mosconi Cup captain from last year, Skylar Woodward, playing Mark Bijsterbosch of the Netherlands. Back to this one though, Yapp with his nose in front again.
Capito broke off before, cue ball went in the pocket. Look how close cue ball was here. And he can port the blue too. You can see he's a little bit hampered with his cueing. That green ball's kind of in his way, but Listen, when it's all said and done, the way Yapp's played, he's got to be absolutely delighted to be 5-4 up.
Delighted and mildly shocked. Eddie Okachi is first to the hill. 9-2, he leads Hunter Lombardo.
Just got to knock this ball in. Yeah, nice.
We have talked about him having the running, but although he's been making the one consistently, he's not got a great deal of opportunities off those breaks, and even there when he did, and the shot at the two was a testing one. One thing that's been lacking from his performance so far is a bit of fluency, and this is a chance in this layout to maybe get a bit of that going. Spoke earlier about Yapp being in the US Open final back in 2021. A couple of years later, he went deep in the same event again and was on the receiving end of one of the most devastating performances we've ever seen. Played Ko Ping Chung in the semi-final. Lost 11-0. Didn't pot a single ball in the whole match.
This has been a lot more like the Yapp we used to watching. It was all about the opening shot. You pot the blue two, you should win the rack. All the balls were there. It was a very good split. Still got to get the job done. That's what he's been doing.
Two things we haven't seen in this match. Aloysius Yapp making a break and run, and either player leading by more than a single rack. But we're seeing them both now. Yapp goes a couple clear at 6-4. Now over on table two, that match that they're just racing through between the two youngsters. AJ Manis back in front now against Yannick Pongers at 8-7. Alexa Pechelge closing in on victory, leading Tang Ching Ting 7-2. Nicholas Tan just needs two more to advance. He leads Michael Schneider 8-5. That match on table two I was talking about. We can have a look in on it. Pongers at the table.
Well, AJ's got half a chance here. He can play the carry to put the green six ball. He's looking at the bank. Maybe he doesn't fancy the carom because he'd have to use the bridge.
A couple of other players on the hill as well. Georgi Georgiev at 9-1 now against Sam Henderson, and Hona Suto at 9-3 against Arseny Sebastianov. So we've got a wave of players moving into the last 32 in the next few minutes.
Yeah, you have to believe this is the correct shot. Just because after potting the green ball, he can dress it up, he can leave himself a shot on the blue too. Not bad. Can just float this ball in, cue ball centre of the table. Oh, he's missed the 2-ball. He's forgot to pot the ball. Okay, big moments here. This rack would have put him on the hill with a bit of breathing space.
Pongers has done well, I think, to put behind him what happened in Sarajevo, and he just collapsed from a dominant position. His big day on the main table against Tobias Bongers. Certainly one of the youngsters we've been talking about on the European scene over the last couple of years. Potentially a big moment come towards the climax of this contest. I didn't really get that close, but hang on. No.
Oh, he can't play the jump shot, I don't think. I think the red 3's in the way.
Just keeping an eye on the match that's going on the other show table. This is table 3. Dean Shields is in play at the moment. And a really good chance to take the lead against Wong Kwok Wang at 6-5. This is the match I was talking about. Wong was the big hope for home success at the Hanoi Open last year. Shields put paid to that.
He's doing a good job here, as Dean. Stayed in the match and a couple of balls away from taking the lead. And believe me, Wong Kwok Wang will remember that match in Hanoi.
Yeah, created a real buzz because Wong, as I say, was the big hope. Don't think anyone at the venue was really expecting Dean Shields to end his run. And it was a remarkable atmosphere at the end. And I spoke to Shields afterwards, and he seemed completely unflustered by it all. Seemed to be someone with a lot of belief, was comfortable in the situation. Just have time to see this. We do. 9 down the side of the table into the corner pocket. Shields in front there. Yapp too clear here.
Look at that, he's missed the one in the side, it's hit the point and gone up the rail. Capito, he is a cool customer, but at some point he's going to start to show a bit of frustration.
Well, it was from 4-all yesterday that Yapp pulled away. Suddenly started to play really well. Didn't lose another rack against Wen Anton.
He can only go off this left rail. One cushion escape. At the bottom side of the blue 2 as well, otherwise you might flick the 9 on the way through.
Got to show good temperament here. He's had so much go against him. It's happening already in this rack. Yapp with the fortunate pot on the one, and as a result, Capito finds himself coming to the table. Another conundrum to solve.
He's made a good hit. And at last, he's got a roll. But we always say a roll is not a roll until the next player comes to the table and plays the shot. You don't know what's going to happen. He might kick this ball in, yeah. Showed you a little bit the AJ Manis and Yannick Ponga's game, and AJ should have gone 9-7 up and missed that blue 2 in the corner. Doesn't matter, he still won the rack. He is 9-7 up now over Pongas. A battle of two of the young guns. Say he might kick it in, and he has kicked it in. This is what Capito has been waiting for. That's why he's dived out of his chair with his cue. He's had to play the patient game. This is his chance.
We do have a couple of winners to tell you about. Georgi Georgiev, who got to the last 32 in Hanoi, has got there again here in Telford. 10-1, he's defeated Sam Henderson. Georgiev was beaten hill by Robbie Capito at this stage in last year, but he's made it further this time. And Claudio Cacci is through as well, comfortably, against Hunter Lombardo. Cacci the winner, 10-3, and likely to play Alexa Pechel, who's 7-3 up on Tang Ching Ting. Should see it out from here, Capito, and it's a big rack for him to win. A contest of this nature, difference of 3 between the players would have felt enormous. In all probability, it's going to be back to just a single rack between them. So after losing the last 2, Robbie Capito really needed to win rack 11, and he has. Back to just 1 behind again at 6-5. Let's see what else is going on. Sei Cha Chen getting back on top against Fitim Haradinaj. A couple clear at 7-5. Conrad Yasushin just needs a couple more. Now leading 8-7 over Lou Ri Teng. Fraser Patrick going well, 6-3 ahead of Yaniuski. Hona Suto on the hill at 9-5 against Arseny Sevastianov. Alexander Kazakis trying to get back into things. Still behind against Mario He, but it's now 6-3. Daniel Masiol 6-5 up on Mustafa Alnar. And another pole leading 6-5 is Mateusz Sniagotsky over Badr Alawadi of Kuwait. Nicholas Tan needs one more rack, leading 9-7 against Michael Schneider. AJ Manis, as you can see, also leading 9-7, but it looks as though that's about to become 9-8 against Yannick Pongers. Mohammed Babad of Saudi Arabia leading Simon Corral 7-6. It's level pegging between Carlo Biado and last year's runner-up, Mieszko Fortunski. That's 5-all. Dean Shields at the table with a chance to go 7-5 in front against Duong Kwok Wang. And that brings you right up to date on all the matches. Although Shields has just missed that 2-ball and has handed Duong a really good chance to get level at 6-all. Back here on table 2, Pongers with the 9 to get back to only one behind. He'll be breaking in the next rack, looking to take that hill. Remember, you can watch tables 1, 2 and 3 throughout on WNT TV. But our focus is here on the defending champion. And he's back to just one behind. And that is pretty good, Carl.
This is why you have to stay patient when you're a Nineball pool player. Because things haven't gone his way in the early stages of the match, but it can soon turn. It doesn't have to always be that way. There's a real good chance here tying the game up once again. Is this cue ball to go? Yeah, he may have to send the cue ball off 2 rails now. Come off this left rail. So he's got to miss the 8-ball. And he's got to watch that left centre pocket. Perfecto.
Yeah, I think any hope that Capito might have had that winning the UK Open would set him up for a very successful year didn't come to pass. In fact, he only won 1 match in the single elimination phase of all the remaining matchroom events last year. And that didn't come until the Hanoi Open. What you would say, though, is that he at least made single elimination in all of the matchroom big field events last year, and that's not to be underestimated. There were only 9 players who managed that in 24, and he was one of them. Pongers is in play on table 2. He's on the 3-ball. He's got a very good chance to get that rack he needs to make that hill against AJ Manis. So 2 balls down off the break. Was rewarded with a nice layout. He's taken care of business from there. 2 in a row for Robbie Capito. And the reigning champ is back level at 6-all. It's also level between Konrad Yusashin and Lu Ri Teng. That one is 8-all. Whoever wins at the moment looks likely to play Fraser Patrick because he's now 4 clear of Yanni Uski at 7-3. Mario He 6-3 up on Alexander Kazakis. Alexa Pechelge has now made it 8-3 in his match against Tang Ching Ting. remember last year in the moments after his UK Open win, Capito was talking in very emotional terms, and one of the things he said was that he hoped his win would prompt a reversal of what looked likely to happen at that time in terms of the funding for him and the other Q Sports stars in Hong Kong. Really punched above their weight in snooker and pool for a number of years now, and a lot of that is down to government funding. It looked as though that was going to be cut. They've had some great news recently. It's actually now been guaranteed for at least the next 2 years. Meanwhile, over on table 2, Pongers needs 8 and 9 to make it 9-9.
This must have been some game to watch, you know, just because both of these two fly around the table. With a long 9.
And we have ourselves our first hill finish of the day. Two youngsters serving up a treat on table 2. The winner of that will play the winner of the Shields Duong match. That one is currently 6-all, as it is here on the main table.
Dry break, he needs help with the 8-ball. Well, I don't know, we can't see from here as he left the pot.
Might be able to tell better from this angle. Yeah, I don't know, Carl.
I think it's very tight either way. If you can't, you might be able to bend it a little bit. Yeah, the left helped it, always kind of turns the ball over the other way. So we're tied at 6-6. Yep, with a chance. On table number 2, Pongers is about to break. Hill.
He's not made the 1 in the side. The 9 had a look in the other side.
It did, didn't it?
He's come up dry. Keep you posted on that one.
I'm shocked that Yapp's hooked himself. Okay, where's the ball's going to finish? This will go in the side. Going to get the cue ball right though. He's going to get on the pink 4, but at least he can pot the ball.
He has led this match briefly. 3-2. After that break and run that he had in the 5th rack. They've lost 4 of the next 5, but chance here to be the first player to win 3 in a row in this match.
play safe here now.
He's had some bad fortune in this match, Capito. May have been the architect of his own downfall in rack 13 here.
That's a really good pot. When you're struggling and you know you're not timing the ball as you want, you've made mistakes in the game, that might just be the type of shot to turn it all around.
Yeah, he was looking so good towards the end of his match yesterday. You're coming away thinking, okay, maybe this is going to be the weekend for Yapp to win one of these, and of course it may well be, but he's not picked up where he left off yesterday by any means.
Yeah, on table 2, Pongos has just fouled, so AJ Manas has an opportunity. He's got ball in hand. So yeah, again, Yapp's going to get the lead. Just kind of get the feeling this one's going to go all the way the match has gone.
Well, Capito coughed up the chance. Yapp made a very nice pot, length of the table. He's gone on to reclaim the lead. Yapp with his nose back in front again at 7-6. Conrad Yasushin now on the hill at 9-8 against Lou Riteng. Hona Suto has won 10-5 against Arseny Sevastianov. And over on table 2, this is AJ Manas in play. Looking to finally get it done in this wonderful match against Yannick Pongers.
Just could get this shot right. It's AJ. If you get on the 7 easy, it's over. Which he does.
Even at the end of a close-fought match, he's bringing that lovely fluent style. He made the last 32 in his home continent at the Hanoi Open back in October. Now he's come to this part of the world and repeated the feat. A wonderful contest. Youth having its day, and AJ Manas coming out on top against Yannick Pongers. He wins by 10 racks to 9. And another hill finish just getting underway on table 12, because it's 9-all now between Conrad Yasushin and Lou Riteng. And Alexa Pechelge is now just one away from victory, leading Tang Ching Ting 9-4. Yapp has found his way back in front. 3 more, he'll be in the next round. 7-6.
Okay, he's made the 1. He's got to look at the blue 2. Hit a really good break there. tell where the cue ball goes off that side rail. Hill match in play, Michael Conrad, his new ride 10.
Yeah, and whoever wins that final rack will play either Fraser Patrick or Jan Uski. 7-5 to the Scot at the moment.
So many close matches around the room. We always expect this. And later, as the week goes on, you know, the better players are starting to meet each other.
Yapp has just had one break and run in this match. Came in rack 10. That was the one that put him 2 clear at 6-4. Pegged back to 6-all, but as I said, back in front now, with a chance to restore that 2-rack advantage.
This looks very nice. Yep, pretty good. I think he waited to go a little bit further, and he could have just played the cue ball one rail. Now he's going to start flirting with a gap in the 8. Rescued it well. Now he's back. Perfect location.
Yeah, and we now know the winner of this will play Nicholas Tan. Made that excellent start against Michael Schneider, got pegged back, but came through with a strong finish. Tan the winner, 10-7. And if Yapp can get over the line here, it will be an all-Singapore clash in the last 32. And Claudio Cacci has also won. He's beaten Hunter Lombardo 10-3. And unless Tang Ching Ting can win 6 racks in a row, Cacci will be playing Alexa Pechelge later today. Well, it's not quite like yesterday where he just raced away from 4-all, but Yapp is starting to find a bit more form, a bit more touch, and a dose of fluency towards the end of this contest. If he can make a routine 8 and 9, that'll be 2 racks in a row for him. And if he can win another 2, he'll be in the last 32 of this UK Open. Yapp now leads the defending champion, Robbie Capito, 8-6. The man Capito beat in the final last year, Mieszko Furtunski, is now leading against Carlo Beato at 7-6. Duong Kwok Hwang coming good in the latter stages against Dean Shields. Duong now leading 8-6. And this is Alexa Pechelge looking to see it out against Tang Ching Ting. Serb is leading 9-4 at the moment. Badr Alawadi and Mateusz Sniegocki level at 7-all. Mario He managing to keep Alexander Kazakis at arm's length. That one is 7-4. And still no result emerging from table 12. Konrad Yasushин and Lu Riteng have gone to a deciding rack.
Well, if that's anything to go by, maybe that's why Pechelge has got a comfortable win. This is the 6. Gets away with it.
Austrian Max Lechner, former US Open runner-up, just getting started against Wang Hung Sang. And also just starting Wojciech Szewczyk, World Championship semi-finalist from Poland, against the Dutchman Jan van Lierop, who just scraped through yesterday. Came here on the back of a Good run in the Scottish Open a few days ago, Van Lierop. Yuki Oi, runner-up in the last Matchroom Open event. Back in action today. The Japanese veteran has taken the opener against Juan Carlos Esposito. Back here, Capito is going to have to win 4 of the 5 remaining racks, or his defence of the title will be over. Oh, and it's a bit closer to the exit for Capito now. We talked earlier in the match about the running, and it's really favoured Yapp there. A golden break, and all of a sudden, Carl, he's only one away from the next round and putting out the holder.
Yeah, he put his hand up, but I can assure you, inside, he will not be bothered one bit. I know I wouldn't be. I'd just be happy to see a number 9 next to my name. I don't care how it goes in and what happens. Just give me the W.
Well, it's been so close all the way, hasn't it? And only at 7-6, I think it was you who said it. This just feels like one that's destined to go hill-hill. And it may yet, but Capito is going to need a bit of a miracle now. And that must be so deflating for him, having battled so hard. What a time for that to happen for Aloysius Yapp.
Things have just gone in Yapp's favour.
So it could be that for the second day in a row, Yapp finds himself in a close contest, but then pulls away towards the finish. If he does, it'll feel very different to yesterday. He played really well, as I was saying, towards the end of his match against Wenan Tan. This has been more a case of getting the job done and getting a massive amount of help in the case of rack 15. Yuki Oi has added another one against Juan Carlos Esposito, so he's quickly into a 2-0 lead. They're still playing that deciding rack between Konrad Yasuchin and Lou Riteng. You often see that on the outside tables where there isn't a shot clock. The final rack, if it goes to it, can end up being a very long affair. So if there's to be a final rack in this match, Capito is going to have to win all of the next 3. There's nothing he can do about it at the moment, because Yapp will break in rack 16.
For a second there, I was looking at the 9-ball, Michael. I thought, surely this is not going to dress up as a combo. So after he pots the 1, he wins dead easy, but it hasn't. So, he's still going to play a good shot here somehow and do something with this red 3-ball.
But if he can find a way to do that, it should be all over. Spotted Wayne Griffiths there looking on. Mentor to all the Hong Kong players. Wayne, of course, the son of the sadly recently departed 1979 World Snooker champion Terry Griffiths. Played such a big part, Wayne, in all the success for Hong Kong Q Sports in recent times.
He's done well getting down here somewhere, hasn't he, there, just to lay the hook. Capito will be looking on knowing he should be welding in behind this green ball in a few seconds' time. If Yapp gets it touching, which he hasn't, that would have cut off this side rail. So at least he can go off the side rail. Try and hit the red ball now.
As I said, if Yapp could find a way to open a path to the line via that 3-ball. It should be the end of the contest, and it will feel like real anticlimax for Capito if that's the case. He was involved in a close tussle all the way.
Keeps looking at this swerve. Problem is, if he goes off the top rail, he's got to hit it hard enough to hit a rail, which he does. Okay. This is okay for Capito. That will do.
Yeah, he's done well there. Knew his reign as UK Open champion was on the line with that shot. Shields has won rack 15 against Wong Kwok Wang, and he really needed to. Kept Wong off the hill. Just one behind now, Shields. 8-7. The Vietnamese star. Liu Teng has won that decider against Conrad Yasuchin. Teng made the last 16 in Telford last year, one match away, getting there again.
Well, he can pot it, but he's going to be queuing over the brown 7. You can put everything into the pot, just because the cue ball will come off 2 rails up towards the pink 4. Shot he's played here, by the way. He's under extreme pressure. He's playing rather to stay in the tournament. He's had to pound the ball in loads of topspin to come all the way down. It's easy to miss the ball when you're playing that shot.
Open, something which will always mean a great deal to Robbie Capito, whatever he goes on to achieve in his career. You never forget your first. His came here in Telford last year. Always gives so much of himself. You can be sure he's putting every last drop of effort into every single shot here as he battles desperately to cling on to his UK Open crown. As though he's going to get this rack and then have the break in the next one. 9-6 looks like a very good lead, but it can be deceptive. So quite a few matches turned around from this sort of position over the years. So the reigning UK Open champion needed to win 4 in a row. There's one. Yapp now ahead. 9-7. Naoki Oi racing away with it early on against Juan Carlos Exposito. Now leading 3-0. Winner of that will play either Wojciech Szewczyk or Jan van Lierop. Szewczyk has taken the first there. 7-all between Carlo Beato and last year's UK runner-up Mieszko Fortunski. Simon Kural of Poland is on the hill at 9-8 against Saudi Arabia's Mohamed Babad. Mateusz Sniagotsky also just looking for one more. He leads Badr Alawadi 9-8. Now, where are we going here? This is Alexa Pechelj, US Open semi-finalist a couple of years ago. Still well in front against Tang Ching Ting, although he did lose the last rack. It's 9-5 now. Daniel Massiol 8-6 up on Mustafa Alnar. Alexander Kazakis still clinging on against Mario He and only a couple behind at 7-5. Ramazan Akdag has won the first couple of racks against Lin Ta Li. Lu Hai Chan has done the same against Christian Merva, who knocked out Premier League winner Moritz Neuhausen yesterday. Max Lechner and Wang Hung Sang level at 1-all. Pius Labut, a semi-finalist here in Telford 12 months ago, has taken the first rack against Flavian Glant of Romania. Fraser Patrick now just one ahead of Yanni Uski at 7-6. And Si Cha Chen now on the hill, leading Fitim Haradinaj 9-8, the day after Haradinaj had one of his best ever wins over Eklund Kachi.
Well, we've seen 3 shots on this table, Michael, and they've been dreadful.
Right, we've got those YouTube guys back. Okay, Capito still punching, but he still needs 3 more. So one in the side, he's made another one as well. How do you like his look on the 2, Carl?
Well, if he's going to go game, he can only bank it in left centre. That would be very attacking. Safety option, looks like there's a couple. You can run the cue ball down near the 6. Hard to protect the blue 2 if you do that. Or he could chip the blue 2 down there and run the cue ball up towards the brown 7. 3 rails. That's the cue ball. So it's the first safety option. And he's got it, so well done.
Capito does go out. Joshua Filler will be the only past winner of this title still in the draw. He plays Canceline of Germany, his compatriot, shortly on table 3. On table 2, David Al-Qaidi, a former UK Open semi-finalist, has just deposited the 9 on the side to take the opener against Mickey Kraus, his Mosconi Cup teammate.
What a beautiful, beautiful jump shot he's played there. And that's the problem when you're playing safe in 9-ball. You can't get the cue ball welded up against another ball, which you often can't. The jump cues, modern era, they've been made so good, so easy, where the players just jump over the balls at ease.
Now, can he make that the start of a dash to the line?
That will do. That flick will do.
Robbie Capito looking on, very aware that his UK Open title could be slipping away from him here. Now, his only hope is a mistake from Yapp, because they're all there for the Singapore star. One of the big narratives of the World Nineball Tour last year was Mickey Kraus and Robbie Capito both jumping out of the pack, delivering on the potential we've been talking about for years, and both becoming winners of major titles. It looks as though right at the start of 2025 they both find themselves making early exits in defence of those titles. This is Alexa Pechel's getting the job done. He's beaten Tang Ching Ting 10-5 and will now play Cledio Kachi in the last 32. For the second day in a row, it's a strong finish from Aloysius Yapp. He was level at 6-all, made a bit of a dash, helped by a golden break to get to the hill at 9-6. Capito made him wait a little longer, but a wonderful jump shot from Yapp set him up with a run to the line in rack 17. The job is done at 10-7, and the champ is out.